The first movie asks if you can strip for drama. The sequel asks you to strip for fun. The third one will ask you strip for art? Question mark. All right, so you probably didn't know this is a movie that existed. I didn't know either until like 2 weeks ago.
I knew. I remember seeing the trailer towards the end of last year. It came out on Valentine's Day weekend.
I just know that I got a trailer for this a couple weeks back, and I was like, wait, fucking really? Because like, man, you and I both really like the second one.
Yeah, I still enjoy watching it from time to time.
Yeah, like it's a fun movie. But like, so they were like, it got kind of like what looks like an artsy fartsy thing. And there's like Magic Mike 3. I'm like, wait, fucking what? All right, this is not
Magic
what was
Mike's Last Dance.
This is not what I expected from this franchise. I'll admit.
Yeah, there are things to like about it.
I didn't say it was bad. I just that's not what I expected. So I guess this is movies I kind of was going back and forth on a little bit. I think what I ultimately landed on was it's fine. Like it's not great, it's not terrible. It's ambitious. I'll give it that. For a movie about male strippers.
Yes.
And especially like definitely not what you like. I guess the other alternative title for this movie, Mike's European Gigolo or whatever. Because basically the plot of this movie is that Mike, still playing Channing Tatum, is retired from male stripping after the events of the second movie. I apologize for your dog barking in the background. We're currently hosting a couple extra dogs right now. But anyway, so he's just bartending this very fancy charity event that's led by Penelope Cruz. There's this big fancy like wife of philanthropist in Europe. And eventually she decides, I guess one of the guests there recognizes Mike from his stripping days and tells Penelope Cruz
from the first movie.
I never saw the first one, so I didn't recognize it.
I saw it after the fact. They showed a clip from the first movie.
Sure. But anyway, the point is she tells Penelope Cruz that he's a male stripper, and she basically just offers him a shit ton of money to do a strip dance for her because she's just very stressed out. What follows is a solid, will feel like 20-minute softcore porn scene.
It was rather erotic.
It was more like that was kind of the part that was like, this is going on for a really long time, followed by she's not responding spontaneously to this. Like this was choreographed as fuck, which is fine. You expect that, but it's still like no, I don't care who you are. No one is like this careful and coordinated while you're being like carried around the room by Channing Tatum. Not without practice. I don't buy it. But anyway, after this very long, again, just basically framed and shot like an old Skinamax movie. Which, by the way, if you remember those are, I'm sorry, you're old now. But anyway,
Pots and kettles, my friend.
What was that?
Pots and kettles, my friend.
I'm including myself in this category. I referenced it, so obviously I'm in this category. Like I hit puberty as a kid. It was on late. No one else was awake. We all explore some things. But anyway, so after like this magical evening, Penelope Cruz, like, you're just the person I'm gonna hire for this massive project. Not gonna tell you until I drop you right in the fucking middle of it. But I need to whisk away to Europe to do it. And he's like, sure, fuck it, whatever. So he flies off to Europe. And then it turns out he has to direct a stripper version of an old like British play that is too traditional. My guess there. But meanwhile, they have opposition from the stuffy Brits who just cannot understand the art form. The males get nude. And from there you can pretty much predict what's going to happen. Like I don't even know if we can really call spoilers on this because it's pretty predictable from beginning to end after that, which doesn't necessarily make it good or bad. It's just predictable. So that's the basic plot of the movie. And because I was thinking about this, because like I mentioned before, you and I really liked the last one because it was a lot of fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. It had a lot of
It
fun.
was a fun road trip movie that was a good display of positive masculinity and sexuality on screen.
Yeah. This one is like, because I never saw the first one. My understanding was like the more dramatic of the three.
Yes, and the first one was an okay introduction. The second one, I will maintain, is the best of the franchise.
That's fair.
And this one has some good dance sequences. You get to spend more time with Channing Tatum's character, and it has a harmless, fluffy end cap to the series.
Sure.
But honestly, I'm probably just gonna keep watching the second one from time to time.
Fair. I mean, like this one feels like it's trying to have its cake and eat it too a little bit. Where it's like it's trying to include some fun elements from the second one while also trying to include some more dramatic elements from the first one, and it doesn't quite work.
No.
And I like Channing Tatum. I like Penelope Cruz. And for the most part, they do have good chemistry on screen. But there's also like cuts of this really pretentious narration done by Penelope Cruz, like adopted daughter, about like the nature of dance and how it brings people together and that kind of shit. I was like, you could have cut this and not missed a fucking thing. It just felt like it was trying to be artsier than it needed to be, or like that the writing didn't match how artsy was trying to be with those sequences.
Which is interesting because this third one is directed by the same director who directed the first one. So
yeah.
I guess he was trying to tie it back together, and
I guess I don't know.
And I guess the whole narration aspect was to sort of catch the audience up to speed on what's happened to Mike since 2015 when the second one came out.
Sure, but there are better ways to get exposition across outside of like
yes.
kind of a very very clumsily woven in narration that did not need to be there, felt needlessly pretentious, and just did not gel with the rest of the film. Because like when it's doing the stuff with the strippers and the dance sequences, like those are fun.
The dance sequences were my favorite parts.
Channing Tatum was still moving his 40s. Good for him. That's hard to fucking do. Like everyone, like I don't think they're as fun as the second movie, like
Agreed.
the dance sequences, because I feel like the first one had more individualized personality to them. This one just does feel like it has a very similar beat to it in each kind of dance sequence, especially when you get to the actual artsy play, which also kind of delves into, for lack of a better term, melodrama.
Yeah, that well, you can relate to and feel the consequences of the drama that is inserted. It is a little superficially forced.
It's also kind of cliche, like the big dramatic all is lost moment in the pouring rain where the man watches a woman run away. And
although the climactic titular last dance that he does, I did very much enjoy that choreography, and I did like how when he got the idea for that, he told the stage manager, "I'm going to need a plumber and a ballerina."
I appreciate the choreographer was good. I felt like the thematic element was a bit, again, melodramatic. It's also kind of like, from an audience perspective, no one has any fucking clue what any of this is referencing.
No, it was basically his private show to Penelope Cruz's character.
Sure. I just don't think it works great as an overall film. But that being said, like the stuff you would realistically want to see in a Magic Mike film is still there. The dance sequences are still good. Channing Tatum's still charming.
Yes.
I guess, and like Penelope Cruz is also very charming, so like she's good in it. I just don't think, and I think you agree with me on this. Like I just don't think the dramatic elements mesh with the parts that are actually like entertaining about the film.
Yes.
At least not nearly as much as it wants to.
The best parts of this movie are the more lighthearted dance sequences, really.
Yeah, and like that's what was fun about the last movie. And I feel like the second one kind of hit a good stride. Like, okay, the first one took itself really seriously, and that like worked for the most part, but not. But let's take it a different direction. This one feels like a overcorrection, I would say.
I think what worked so well with the second installment of this franchise was that had a ticking clock and lower stakes.
Mhm.
They just wanted to go somewhere, and they encountered a few side quests to get to their destination.
Yeah.
That was it. It was simple.
Yeah. And like this one is more or less simple, if just more, which is also kind of why the overwritten part of it kind of comes into play, because it becomes more obvious. Like, guys, the plot's not that deep.
No, it's not.
Like, we don't need to go that much into it. We also like we have the angry adopted daughter who eventually comes to root for for Mike in his quest. We have the angsty butler who also kind of is like, I don't like you, Mike, but I goddamn respect you.
Pretty much, yes.
But he's British, so they were like, "Oh, Mike, I tolerate you."
He was impressed that Mike wrote or texted a haiku.
No, I will give it a little credit for Penelope Cruz's character in particular. I did kind of like because originally I was kind of going like, oh, they kind of made her like shrill and bipolar and kind of obnoxious and that kind of stuff. But that is one that I feel like they did kind of justify with the relationship with her husband and that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, I like that angle. I think it's a good angle. I think Penelope Cruz plays it well. So credit where credit's due. I think that part of it worked. I think it's belonged in a different movie.
I do think that of the love interests this character, Channing Tatum's character, has had in these 3 films, I think Penelope Cruz's character, he probably had the most natural fitting chemistry with.
They did have very good chemistry together. Yeah, I think that yeah, no, I like them. I like them together. I think they acted well off each other. And it did kind of remind me a bit of Ted. That's what this movie is. It's fucking like Ted Lasso, but with theater. And not as good.
I've heard of Ted Lasso. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of
it. If you can find a way to watch it, you absolutely should. It's one of the best shows currently on television.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. But anyway, and you're gonna watch it, you're like, oh, that's what he meant. That's hilarious. But anyway, yeah, I think I've covered all the major beats I can really think of. If I give this one a number, I give it a solid like 5 or 6, like perfectly average.
Yeah, I'd give it in that range as well. Maybe like a 6.5.
Yeah, like not great, not good, but like passable for what it is. But that being said, if I'm gonna watch any Magic Mike material, I'd follow your lead. I just watch 2 again.
Yes.
So do you have anything else you want to add or thing we didn't talk about?
I liked the music choices. There was one in particular during the performance that was a 90s throwback to a Faith Evans R&B song that made me very happy, and I was kind of dancing in my chair in my theater a little bit. So that part was fun for me. But yeah, I've pretty much said what I wanted to. There are things to like about this movie,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to seek it out
Yeah.
as much again. Not that it's a bad movie. It's fine. It's serviceable.
Just never
But
need to watch it again.
true to many other film trilogies, the second installment is still the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that. So yeah, that's Magic Mike 3. Not only do you know it exists now you know it's aggressively meh.
Pretty much.
So yeah, I think it's
A,
only
a for effort.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's all we got for this. Still gotta watch Cocaine Bear. Creed 3 comes out this week, so we'll watch that one too. And then whatever else we'll get around to when we get around to it. So I think it's all we got. Thank you all for watching. See y'all later.